Welcome back to Elite Star Global, where voices become legends. Today, we're stepping into a mystery. Not the kind wrapped in scandal or controversy, but something far more haunting. Something that keeps Il Volo's most devoted fans awake at night, searching, scrolling, hoping. What happened to the footage? Imagine being 17 years old. Your voice carries the weight of Puccini, the soul of Verdi, the fire of a generation. You step onto a stage in Italy. A small town, a packed piazza, a crowd that has never heard anything quite like you, and you sing. And the world stops. Now imagine that moment is gone. No recording. No archive. No digital trace. Just the memory of those who were there, burning quietly in their hearts like an ember that refuses to die. That is the extraordinary, aching reality of Il Volo's earliest performances. Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble were not always the global phenomenon you see selling out arenas from Mexico City to Rome. Before the Grammy stages, before the Sanremo triumphs, before the world knew their names, they were three boys. Three extraordinary boys, singing in regional Italian competitions, local festivals, and small television programs that nobody thought to preserve for history. And here is the devastating irony, the very performances that created Il Volo. The raw, unpolished, earth-shaking early moments that shape everything, exist today only in fragments. Grainy clips. Partial recordings. Fan memories passed down like oral tradition. You could feel it even then, those who witnessed it say. Something in the room would shift. The air would change. A 13-year-old Piero would open his mouth, and grown adults would reach for one another's hands without knowing why. Part of the reason is simply the era. The late 2000s sat in an awkward technological middle ground, the smartphone revolution was just beginning, YouTube was young, and regional Italian television rarely maintained deep archival systems for youth performance programming. Ti lascio una canzone, the RAI broadcast that first brought these boys together in 2009, captured some moments, but the rehearsals, the backstage tears, the private vocal sessions between three strangers becoming brothers. Those disappeared into the ordinary chaos of live production. What we are left with tells only half the story. And half the story of Il Volo is still more powerful than most artists' complete discographies. But it is the missing half that haunts us. Fans who attended early regional concerts in Sicily, Calabria, and Emilia-Romagna describe a feeling that cannot be manufactured. Gianluca, barely a teenager, holding a note so long and so purely that audience members would later say they forgot to breathe. Ignazio, always Ignazio, bringing warmth into every room before he sang a single syllable, his smile alone enough to make strangers feel they had known him all their lives. And then the voice would follow, and the smile would deepen into something sacred. These were not polished performances. They were honest ones. And honest performances, delivered by voices chosen by something greater than talent alone, leave marks on the soul that no algorithm can replicate. The brotherhood visible in Il Volo today, that effortless, unspoken current of love and rivalry and loyalty that flows between Piero, Ignazio, and Gianluca on every stage, was forged in those invisible early years. In green rooms too small for three teenage boys and their nervous energy. In long drives between regional venues. In the shared terror of singing opera before crowds who didn't know whether to applaud or simply weep. Those years built the men. And the world was not watching closely enough to save what was built. This is why, when a rare clip surfaces, a pixelated moment, a shaky fan recording from the back of a concert hall, a forgotten television segment, the Il Volo community erupts. Not merely with nostalgia. With something closer to grief and gratitude simultaneously. Because each recovered fragment is proof. Proof that what we feel when we hear them now was always there. That it was never constructed. It was never manufactured by a record label or a marketing team. It was real from the very beginning. And perhaps that is the most important truth of all. The historical elusiveness of Il Volo's early performances is not merely a loss. It is also a kind of testament. These were moments so pure, so unrepeatable, so genuinely human, that no camera thought to run. No producer thought to archive them. Because nobody, in that moment, fully believed what they were witnessing could last. They were wrong. Magnificently, beautifully wrong. Il Volo lasted. Il Volo grew. And though the early footage fades and flickers and disappears into the past, the voices themselves have never stopped building the evidence. Every arena performance, every standing ovation, every fan in Sao Paulo or Los Angeles or Tokyo who closes their eyes and feels something they cannot explain, every one of those moments is a continuation of what began in those small Italian piazzas decades ago. The recordings may be lost. But the legacy is deafening. Thank you for being here on Elite Star Global, where voices become legends. If this story moved you, if it reminded you why Il Volo holds a permanent place in your heart, leave a comment below. Tell us, what is the earliest Il Volo performance that first made you feel it? Because your memory matters. Your story is part of the archive now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because legends deserve to be found.